New Hampshire News Radio WGIR, joining us now from Manchester, New Hampshire. Paul, talk about the two debates. It seemed last night's debate was more feisty than the one this morning. Would you agree?
Certainly would. You know, I would have to say, though, I watched it with a group of native New Hampshireites, people who have been here, who've lived through 3 or 4 of these election cycles, and honestly, they liked the one a lot more this morning than they did last night. Last night seemed to focus very heavily in the first issue on social issues, a little bit of foreign policy, whereas this morning it started off with the economy and jobs, and that's something where if you ask a typical Manchesterite or New Hampshireite what they are looking for presidential candidates to talk about, that's the focus they're looking for. But in terms of the tenor, yeah, last night was probably a little bit more feisty.
Well, in a state whose state motto is live free or die, which one of these appeals most to New Hampshire voters?
Well, you know, if you look at the polls, you're looking at Mitt Romney. He's somebody who these guys really do know. You know, that live free or die motto is taken a lot of different ways. 40% of the electorate here is a registered independent. So you have to sort of take it as independent-mindedness. They're going to look for the best candidate in the field. And right now it seems that Mitt Romney, to many New Hampshireites, is a known quantity. He's the former governor of Massachusetts. He's a guy who has campaigned here before, and certainly with Republican voters, that's a big thing. John McCain was able to win the nomination back in 2008 because he had campaigned here before. He had that name brand recognition. Mitt Romney looks like he's doing the same thing. However, we're also seeing Ron Paul creeping up, as well as John Huntsman now in 3rd place in the latest round of polling I've seen from NBC News.
Yeah, I wanted to get to that point about John Huntsman, the former Utah governor, who pretty much has put his entire basket of eggs into the New Hampshire primary Tuesday. How's he doing? How is his message resonating with prospective voters in New Hampshire today?
You know, I have to say on my show, when I take callers, people like John Huntsman. They just don't love him. They want to like him. They want him to be the prospective candidate. He's somebody who certainly seems electable. He's got executive experience as the former governor of Utah. Former ambassador to China. People love that about him, but they say he'd be a better Secretary of State than potentially being President of the United States because, quite frankly, he doesn't come out. He doesn't push hard on more conservative issues, and that's something that I think a lot of, especially those Republican and conservative voters, are looking for. John Huntsman just has not done it to the point that some of these other candidates have.
Who do you think is not going to survive the New Hampshire primary and move on to South Carolina?
Well, you know, you look at the field right now, I think certainly there are some of the smaller name candidates, Gary Johnson, Buddy Roemer, they're going to be gone very quickly. But I don't know if this round is actually going to eliminate anyone because most people, John Huntsman, if he finishes a dismal position, I would say he would be the first person gone, say a 4th or a 5th finished. But beyond that, I think most people are looking towards South Carolina and then, of course, Florida, which is the largest contest in the early primaries. You're talking about a gigantic
coming up at the end of the month.
Yeah. So I think we're going to see more dropouts after South Carolina.
And Paul, finally, just seconds left. Which of the candidates' messages are most likely now to stick with New Hampshire voters Tuesday?
Well, really, you know, that depends. I would say Mitt Romney is really just trying to reinforce, but John Huntsman, like I said, somebody who's certainly popping, and Ron Paul second in the poll. So I'd be looking for those 3, and Newt Gingrich just trying to hang on. So I can't say I can give you a straight answer on that one, so sorry.
Still very much up in the air, isn't it? Paul Westcott, host of New Hampshire News Radio WGIR's GIR, speaking with us from Manchester, New Hampshire today. Thanks a lot for this, Paul.
Hey, anytime.
Well, U.S. Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords returns today to the place that changed